Welcome back to day 3 of AIM's AI and HR week. We're super happy to have you. My name is Lauren Patel. I am your host and guide for the week. And right now, grab a hot beverage. We're going to have some story time. So we all know that HR drives results, but we definitely don't always get the credit. I think sometimes because the results are a little ambiguous, culture is better. It's improved. But tying those things to revenue or bottom line or an ROI is just not always where HR really feels cozy. We don't always shine there. But I want to tell you a little story of how I was able to do this at a past employer, and it really made a big difference. So think back to COVID time. Life was crazy, right? We had a group of underperforming reps, and I was charged with getting them to improve, or we were going to have to lay them off. But also, if that didn't improve and I couldn't tie it back to our training, we were going to have cuts in our department too. So zero pressure, right? So I dove in. I analyzed thousands of lines of data. I talked to reps. I talked to their managers. I looked at activity. I looked at their sales. I looked at how big their sales were. Hundreds of different markers across thousands of lines of data for about 150 different sales reps. It was not an easy task. I think to myself, my gosh, I wish I would have had AI back then just to be able to do the analysis. But really the point of this story is I had to do the analysis to put them in the right classes, to develop the right curriculum, to lead the right coaching sessions, but I also had to track their activity and their performance before, during, and after. Not only did we see that 60% of reps significantly improve their performance after just 8 weeks, it was the first time that the VP of sales was able to point directly to training and say, thank you, you made a difference in a time where it was really critical. So I say all this and we play story time so we can talk about the importance of why we need to be doing this, not just for training and development, but also for the other initiatives that we put in place. HR has a great opportunity to show how not only can we mitigate risk, but we can decrease costs and we can increase profits. So today's challenge, today's work is all about finding ways that we can tie value to what we do to the bottom line, so that when we go to that C-suite, when we go to our leaders, we get to have the credit that we quite frankly deserve. So today's challenge, we're going to go through a few examples of ways that we can start to tie back what we do to the bottom line of our business. And we're going to talk about how we can use AI to do that, because gosh, please don't analyze thousands of lines of data like I did. It's not fun for anyone. So go ahead and follow the demo that we're going to do next. We're going to hop on Amy Hart. We're going to use her to help us to show some ROI. And I'm going to give you just a couple of quick use cases so that if maybe the training and development one isn't in your lane today, there is another one that can help and support. So back onto Amy Hart we go. We'll see you tomorrow.
For today's use case, when it comes to utilizing Amy Hart and AI for data and business cases and showing ROI, I've got 2 examples for you. They are adjacent to the resources that we have. The first one, we will do a training and development, and then I have one about cost to hire. And when you sometimes just need to outsource stuff, we need to have a business case for it. So let's go ahead and start with our example of a recent development program. Maybe we're building off of what we did yesterday and saying, okay, it's finally done, and we have some fantastic results from it. So what I have done is I've pulled together a little prompt, and I've pulled together some basic information that we would have after we've completed a training. So my prompt follows along with some of the prompts we have in today's guide. Really what it is asking for us to act as a business partner and show the ROI of a recent training. So I've included a few details from the training, what it was, how many people went through it, what the specifications of the program were. And then we talk about the results, 22% improvement in retention, our peer feedback scores improved. So I'm just going to let it go wild with that before I add in any additional details or give it any other feedback. So we are really just asking it to make a simple 1-page ROI summary. This is something that we could share with leadership. It's outlined in a very clear way. We've gotten rid of the fluff. We've got some metrics in here, which I really do like. So if we do also have any sort of business goals or things that we could tie it to, if we've said retention was a priority for the company, include those things in those details as well. What I'm not seeing though is a dollar for dollar ROI. And I think that's where we can take this just a step further. So we'll go back off of day one of take it one more step further. And excuse my poor typing, but this is what we're going to enter. We're going to say the training cost $6,000 and it costs us approximately $20,000 each time we have a position turnover. So I'm hoping that what it does is start to give me a few more specifics in here that really hit on that financial impact. So perfect, exactly what we were looking for. 2 turnovers, $20,000 per event. When it's figured out what that would be, it's estimating $40,000 saved. Especially with those 12 people that went through it. So we are being able to see that. We are seeing a 6.7 times return. So that's helping us to take the numbers without all of the analysis and start to build those ROI reports that make a really big difference to the C-suite. For our second example, we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about the cost it is to leave a position vacant and what it costs to actually replace that person. So, oftentimes, if we have a vacant position, there's this thought of, well, we're not paying a salary, we are not paying for benefits. Yeah, we've got some people taking on a little extra work, but it's fine, right? Well, what we often find when we start to pull in the numbers is that it costs us more to leave it vacant than it does to actually pay to have someone help us fill it. So I'm basing this off of a worksheet that we've been using for the past year or so. This is available to our members through BLR. I've customized this particular cost of turnover and hire report with some data as if we had 2 fork truck driver positions open for approximately 5 weeks. So according to the formulas in here and all of the data, it considers a lot, as you can see. The total cost of the turnover would be about $15,000. Now, could I put in some data and ask AI to do this? Yes, I could, but this is a nice combination between tools and resources we already have available and then how we can use AI to better the communication of them. So I'm going to keep this in mind, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a prompt into Amy Hart to help me start pulling in some sort of a business case. So let's go back to Amy Hart for just a moment. And we're going to put in this prompt. So I'm saying we've got the 2 positions open. It costs us $15,000 for 5 weeks for them open. I need help. Please create an executive summary and business case to outsource recruiting. So this is when I know I need a little bit more support and I need to have them help me with a business case. So it is going to go through and do a little search on the knowledge to see if there's anything else it can help to support, maybe even some statistics from a survey, anything like that that can help us out. So we are estimating that this is over $1,500 per week per person to find out this total. We are giving some things in here that from our surveys, which is always helpful. That helps with the data. And we are talking about the continued vacancy, what that could cost. They are also giving us our estimated recruiter fees. So obviously these would vary. Talk to AIM, talk to your recruiting partners to see what those would be. But this would be a great opportunity to utilize AI to help you type this out. It would have taken me a little bit to do this. Of course, we can come in and make some adjustments in there as well. So I think that the next thing that I would really want to do from here is move towards putting this into a format that's approachable and taking that to the next level. But hopefully these cases and the ones in your resource guide for today are helpful in getting you the credit that you deserve or getting you the help that you deserve.